Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and realizing that the only thing standing between you and the life you've always wanted isn't money, luck, or connections. It's your mind. That voice inside your head that tells you what you can and cannot do. That little whisper that either pushes you forward or convinces you to stay the same. What if I told you that every limitation you believe in is nothing more than a story you've repeated to yourself for so long? It feels like truth. What if the difference between you being stuck where you are and you becoming unstoppable is not in your circumstances, but in your ability to rewire your brain? This is where it all begins, mind over matter. Think about the greatest breakthroughs in American history. Thomas Edison failing thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. The Wright brothers pushing through doubt and ridicule to give the world flight. Oprah Winfrey rising from poverty and hardship to become one of the most influential women in the world. None of them started with perfect conditions. None of them had guarantees, but all of them had the same unshakable belief that the mind could bend reality, that their thoughts, their persistence, and their mental strength could overpower circumstance, pain, and even failure. That's not luck, that's wiring. That's the science of how we train our brain to believe before the world believes with us. You see, your brain is not a fixed machine. It's a living, breathing system that adapts. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity. It means that the pathways in your brain are not permanent. They're shaped by the thoughts you think and the actions you repeat. If you've been telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never succeed," "I'm too late," or "I don't have what it takes," guess what? Your brain starts to carve those words into your identity. But here's the incredible truth. The same way your brain has been wired with fear, doubt, and procrastination, it can be rewired with courage, confidence, and action. Every thought you choose, every belief you repeat, every habit you reinforce, it all builds new wiring, new circuits, new outcomes. That's the power of mind over matter. I want you to picture someone sitting in a small apartment in New York, staring at bills stacked on the table. They're overwhelmed, they're broke, and they feel like the world has left them behind. Most people would give in, shut down, or escape into distractions. But this person takes a pen, writes down a vision for their life, and decides, "This ends today. I refuse to let my mind be my prison." Every morning they start speaking affirmations out loud, even though it feels silly at first. They repeat, "I am strong. I am capable. I am creating wealth. I am rewriting my story." They pair that with small actions, sending out job applications, studying a new skill, networking with people online. Weeks pass. Months pass. Slowly, the wiring in their brain shifts. They go from hopeless to hopeful, from doubtful to determined, and eventually, from broke to building a new life. That transformation doesn't start with money, it starts with the mind. The reason this message matters to you right now is because you've been told a lie. The lie is that your circumstances define your future. The truth is, your brain defines your circumstances. If you change the way you think, you change the way you act. And when you change the way you act, you change the outcomes you create. It's not magic, it's not hype, it's biology, it's psychology, and it's proof that you can take control of your destiny starting today. But here's the catch. Rewiring your brain doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention, it requires discipline, and it requires consistency. Every thought you allow to dominate your mind is either building you up or breaking you down. If you keep feeding your brain negativity, doubt, and fear, you're programming yourself for failure. But if you feed it vision, courage, and belief, you're programming yourself for success. You have to guard your thoughts like your life depends on it, because it does. Now, I know some of you watching this right now might be thinking, "That sounds good, but my situation is different. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know the pain I carry, the failures I've endured, the people who let me down." And you're right, I don't know your story. But I do know this. There are people who have gone through heartbreak, bankruptcy, loss, rejection, and still came back stronger than ever because they refused to let their circumstances dictate their mindset. If they can, you can. The difference is not in what they went through, but in how they chose to think about it. They didn't let pain become their identity. They let it become their fuel. So let me ask you, what story are you telling yourself about who you are? Is it the story of someone stuck? Or is it the story of someone on the rise? Because whichever story you tell, your brain will start to believe it. And whichever story your brain believes, your life will start to follow. That's how powerful this is. This isn't just about motivation. It's about rewiring at the deepest level. The United States was built on people who refused to let their minds be controlled by fear. Immigrants who came here with nothing but a dream. Entrepreneurs who risked it all to chase opportunity. Athletes who trained every day when no one was watching. Leaders who stood up for change when it was dangerous to do so. They all had the same thing in common. They decided to master their minds. And now it's your turn. This is just the beginning of the journey. In the next part, we're going to dive deeper into how exactly you can rewire your brain, step by step, thought by thought, habit by habit. But right now, I want you to understand this. You are not stuck, you are not broken, and you are not doomed. You are powerful beyond measure, and the only thing standing in your way is the story you keep telling yourself. Change that story, and you change your life. Because when it comes down to it, success isn't about having more talent, more money, or more opportunities. It's about mastering your mind. It's about proving to yourself every single day that you are stronger than your doubts, bigger than your fears, and more powerful than your circumstances. That's mind over matter. And your journey to rewiring your brain for success starts right here, right now. If you're still watching right now, it means something inside you knows this isn't just another motivational video. It means you're hungry for change. You're tired of feeling like you're living below your potential, and you're ready to figure out how to finally take control of your mind. Because let's be real, life in America isn't easy. The bills don't stop, the pressure doesn't stop, and the distractions never end. Social media is constantly screaming at you, comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel, and deep down, you feel the weight of not being where you want to be. But here's the truth. You don't have to be a prisoner to that cycle. You can rewire your brain, and once you do, you'll realize that everything you need to succeed has been inside you the whole time. Let's start with this. Your brain runs on patterns. Every thought you repeat becomes a signal, and the more you repeat it, the stronger that signal becomes. Imagine a dirt path in the woods. If nobody walks on it, the grass grows back and the path disappears. But if you walk on that same path every day, it gets clearer, stronger, easier to travel. That's exactly how your brain works. If you keep thinking negative thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I'll never make it, or why even try? You're walking the same negative path every single day, and your brain is strengthening that pattern. But the moment you start replacing those thoughts with empowering ones, you begin creating a new path. At first it feels uncomfortable, unnatural, even fake. But the more you walk it, the stronger it becomes. That's the science of rewiring your brain, breaking old patterns and building new ones. Think about someone like Michael Jordan. Do you think he became the greatest basketball player of all time just by practicing his jump shot? No, he mastered his mind. Every time he failed, every time he was doubted, he trained himself to respond with belief, with hunger, with determination. That's mental wiring. Or take someone like Elon Musk. The guy faced setback after setback, companies failing, rockets exploding, but his brain was wired to see possibility where others saw disaster. That's why he kept going. The key here isn't their talent. It's their ability to control the way their brain responds to challenges. Now let's bring it back to you. Maybe you're working a 9-to-5 job, clocking in and out, exhausted at the end of the day. Maybe you're a student drowning in loans, unsure if your degree will even guarantee you a future. Or maybe you're someone who's tried to chase your dreams before, but failure hit so hard you stopped believing in yourself. Whatever your story is, your brain has created a pattern around it. And if you don't break that pattern, you'll keep reliving the same life over and over again. But the moment you decide to step into a new pattern, by changing what you focus on, what you say to yourself, and what you do every single day, you create a new future. The first step to rewiring your brain is awareness. Most people are living on autopilot, repeating the same negative thoughts without even realizing it. You have to stop and listen to the voice in your head. Catch it when it says, "You can't do this," or "You're going to fail." Don't ignore it. Challenge it. Replace it with something new. Say out loud, "I can do this. I am capable. I will figure it out." At first it feels awkward, almost like you're lying to yourself. But that's because your brain isn't used to it yet. With repetition, that new voice becomes stronger, and eventually, it becomes your default. That's when the rewiring starts to stick. The second step is visualization. And I don't mean some mystical nonsense. I mean scientifically proven, results-backed visualization. Olympic athletes have been using this for decades. They close their eyes and picture themselves running the race, crossing the finish line, holding the medal. Their brain doesn't know the difference between imagining and actually doing it. That's why when the moment comes, their body already knows what to do. You can do the same thing. Close your eyes and see yourself living the life you want, whether that's running your own business, standing on a stage speaking to thousands, buying your first home, or simply being confident in your own skin. The more you see it, the more your brain believes it, and the more likely you are to act in alignment with it. The third step is action. Because here's the harsh truth. Rewiring your brain doesn't work if you just sit around thinking about it. You have to back it up with action. Every time you act in alignment with your new mindset, your brain strengthens those new pathways. Let's say you want to be more disciplined. You start by making your bed every morning, even when you don't feel like it. You commit to going to the gym, even when your body says stay home. You open that book, take that class, send that email, even when your mind whispers excuses. Each small action is like pouring concrete on that new neural pathway. Over time, it becomes the road your brain naturally travels. That's how you transform, not in one big leap, but in small, consistent actions that rewire you into someone unrecognizable. Let me give you a real-world example. There was a man who had struggled with obesity his entire life. He tried diets, workouts, everything, but nothing stuck. Then he learned about neuroplasticity. Instead of focusing on, "I'm overweight, I'll never change," he rewired his self-talk. He told himself, "I am an athlete. I treat my body with respect. I am becoming healthier every day." He paired that belief with tiny actions, walking 10 minutes a day, drinking water instead of soda, cooking instead of ordering fast food. Slowly but surely, his brain started to believe the new story. 2 years later, he had lost over 150 pounds, not because of some miracle diet, but because he rewired his brain to believe he was worthy of change. That's what's possible for you. Right now, I want you to think about the area of your life that feels stuck. Is it your career, your health, your relationships, your self-confidence? Whatever it is, understand that the problem isn't just out there. The problem starts in your brain, and the solution starts there too. If you can rewire your mind to believe in new possibilities, to reject old excuses, and to act as if you're already the person you want to be, you will become that person. It's not theory, it's reality. This is why people who master their minds are unstoppable. Life can throw challenges, failures, and setbacks at them, but their wiring is too strong to break. Their brain is trained to see opportunity in struggle, lessons in failure, and possibility in the impossible. And if you're still listening to this right now, that's exactly who you're becoming. So the question is, are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to catch your negative thoughts, replace them with empowering ones, visualize your future, and take small, consistent actions every day? Because if you are, you will be shocked at how fast your life begins to change. This is just the second step of the journey. In the next part, we'll dive even deeper into how to build unshakable mental habits, how to train your brain to stay strong under pressure, and how to create momentum that doesn't stop. But right now, I want you to sit with this truth. Your brain is not your enemy, unless you let it be. It can become your greatest weapon, your strongest ally, your secret advantage. All it takes is the decision to rewire it. And that decision is in your hands right now. By now, you understand that your brain isn't fixed. It's flexible. It can be rewired. And the story you tell yourself shapes the reality you live in. But here's the next layer. Rewiring your brain for success isn't just about thinking positive. It's about building a mental armor so strong that nothing can break it. Because let's face it, life is going to test you. America is the land of opportunity, but it's also the land of competition, setbacks, and noise. You're going to be told no. You're going to be underestimated. You're going to fail, sometimes more than once. The question is, what will your brain do in that moment? Will it collapse under the weight, or will it rise up stronger than ever? There's a reason some people hit rock bottom and stay there, while others hit rock bottom and build their empire on top of it. The difference is mindset. Imagine two people get laid off from the same company on the same day. One says, "This is the end. I'll never recover. Why even try?" and spends the next year spiraling. The other says, "This is my chance. If one door closed, another door will open. I'll use this pain to push harder." One sees defeat, the other sees opportunity. Both faced the same problem, but their brains told different stories, and those stories created completely different lives. Let me tell you about a man named Chris Gardner. You may know his story from The Pursuit of Happiness. He was homeless, living on the streets with his young son, sleeping in bathrooms, struggling just to survive. Most people would have given up right there. But Chris rewired his brain to see possibility where others only saw hopelessness. He refused to let his circumstances define his future. He showed up every single day to work an unpaid internship at a brokerage firm, competing against people with more money, more education, and more advantages than him. Eventually, he not only got the job, he went on to build a multi-million-dollar business. That's mind over matter. That's what happens when you train your brain to believe that failure is temporary, but success is inevitable if you keep going. Here's the truth. Your brain is designed for survival, not success. Left on autopilot, it will always choose the safe path, the easy path, the path of least resistance. That's why most people stay stuck. They listen to the voice that says, "Don't risk it. Don't try. Stay comfortable." But comfort is a trap. The people who win in this country, the people who rise above the noise, are the ones who rewire their brains to crave growth more than comfort, to embrace discomfort as the price of greatness. Think about the soldiers who train at boot camp, pushing their bodies and minds to the limit. Think about entrepreneurs who live on ramen noodles, working 18-hour days to launch their companies. Think about athletes waking up before sunrise to practice when the world is still asleep. None of that is comfortable, but it rewires the brain to thrive under pressure. So how do you do it? How do you build a brain that doesn't break when life gets tough? The answer is resilience training. Just like you train your body in the gym, you train your brain through repetition and exposure. When you feel fear, don't run from it, step into it. When you face failure, don't avoid it, analyze it. When you feel doubt, don't let it control you. Prove it wrong with action. Every time you do this, you're teaching your brain, "I can handle this. I'm stronger than this." Over time, your brain adapts. It becomes wired for resilience, wired for courage, wired for persistence. Think about American history. The civil rights movement was built on people who refused to accept defeat, even when the odds were stacked against them. Rosa Parks saying no on that bus. Martin Luther King Jr. standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, declaring a dream in the face of hatred and violence. These weren't people who had easy lives. They faced threats, rejection, and pain every single day. But their minds were wired with a vision so powerful that nothing could shake it. That's the kind of mental strength you need if you want to change your life. Now let's bring this down to your daily reality. Every morning, you wake up with a choice. Do you let your brain run on autopilot, following the same patterns of procrastination, excuses, and fear? Or do you take control and rewire it with new rituals, new beliefs, new standards? Successful people don't wait to feel motivated. They train their brains to act no matter how they feel. They don't let a bad mood, a bad day, or a bad break stop them. They show up anyway. They put in the reps, and over time, their brain rewires itself to associate action with identity. That's how you become unstoppable. There's a concept called identity-based habits. It means you don't just do something because you want results. You do it because it's who you are. If you run every morning, you're not just trying to lose weight, you're an athlete. If you study every day, you're not just trying to pass an exam, you're a scholar. If you work on your business every night, You're not just chasing money, you're an entrepreneur. When your brain adopts that new identity, your actions become automatic. You don't have to force discipline. It becomes who you are. That's the ultimate level of rewiring. I want you to picture yourself a year from now. Imagine you rewired your brain to believe in your potential, to push through your fears, to act every single day no matter what. Where would you be? Maybe you'd finally be in shape. Maybe you'd be building your dream business. Maybe you'd be more confident, more fulfilled, more in control. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine if you stay the same. If you let your brain keep running the old program of excuses, doubt, and procrastination. Where would you be a year from now? Probably in the same place, or worse. The choice is yours. Right now, in this moment, your brain is listening. It's waiting for you to decide what story to tell, what identity to adopt, what actions to take. And once you decide, it will begin rewiring itself to follow that path. That's the beauty of neuroplasticity. You're never stuck. No matter your age, your background, your past, you can change. You can transform. You can become the kind of person who doesn't just dream about success, but lives it. So ask yourself, are you ready to start living like the person you want to become? Are you ready to rewire your brain, not just for motivation, but for unshakable resilience, unstoppable habits, and unbreakable belief? Because if you are, then the next step is to go even deeper into the tools, the strategies, and the daily practices that turn rewiring into results. And that's where we're heading next. Now here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Your brain isn't built to make you successful. It's built to keep you safe. That's why when you try something new, like starting a business, asking for that promotion, or even committing to daily workouts, your brain floods you with doubt. It whispers, what if you fail? What if people laugh? What if it doesn't work? But here's where the rewiring begins. Instead of accepting those thoughts as facts, you start questioning them. You ask, what if I succeed? What if people respect me? What if this changes everything? That simple flip, from fear to possibility, is like installing new software in your brain. Let's take an example. Picture Sarah, a single mom from Ohio. She always dreamed of starting her own bakery, but for years, her brain told her, you can't risk it. You don't have the money. You'll never make it. But one day, she rewired her thinking. Instead of saying, I can't afford to start, she asked, how can I afford to start? That question opened her mind to solutions. She started small, selling cupcakes from her home. Within a year, she had a loyal customer base, and now she owns a thriving bakery that supports her and her kids. Her story isn't magic, it's mindset. She didn't wait for fear to disappear. She retrained her brain to focus on opportunity, not obstacles. And here's the kicker. Your brain physically changes when you do this. It's called neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to create new connections based on repeated thoughts and actions. Every time you choose courage over fear, persistence over laziness, gratitude over negativity, you're literally rewiring your brain to think and act like a successful person. This is why affirmations, journaling, and daily habits matter. It's not woo-woo. It's science. You're teaching your brain a new language, the language of success. And once your brain speaks that language fluently, success becomes automatic. So the question is, are you feeding your brain doubt, or are you feeding it possibility? Because whatever you repeat, your brain will believe. Listen, your brain is the most powerful tool you'll ever own. It can either be your greatest weapon or your biggest prison. The difference lies in how you train it. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, whether it's Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or Steve Jobs, they all had doubts, fears, and failures. But what separated them from everyone else was this. They didn't let their brain run the show. They rewired it to work for them, not against them. And you can do the same. You don't need to be a millionaire today. You don't need to have all the answers. What you need is to take control of the conversation happening inside your head. Every time your brain says, you can't, answer back with, watch me. Every time fear tries to freeze you, remind yourself, growth lives on the other side of this. This is your turning point. No more waiting for the perfect time. No more letting negative thoughts dictate your life. From this moment forward, you decide who you're becoming. But here's the deal. Motivation without action is useless. So starting tonight, do this. Write down one limiting belief that's been holding you back. Then flip it into a powerful, possibility-driven statement. Read it every morning for the next 30 days. That's how rewiring starts. Not with giant leaps, but with consistent rewrites of the story you tell yourself. Because when you master your mind, you master your life. Success isn't out there waiting. It's already inside you, waiting for you to unlock it. Now it's your move. If you're ready to take control, smash that like button, subscribe for more life-changing motivation, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Let's build a community of unstoppable minds, because your future self is counting on the decisions you make right now. Remember this, your thoughts shape your destiny. Rewire your brain, and you rewrite your future.